The King's Weapon. Long ago, in the shadowed valleys of feudal Japan, there lived a samurai named Raikuro Takeda. Raised in the royal barracks after his family was slaughtered in a border raid, Raikuro was forged into a weapon, silent, ruthless, and loyal only to the king. His eyes held no warmth, his blade no mercy. The king used him not as a man, but as a sword with a heartbeat. In the final battle of a long war, Raikuro led the charge against the enemy's stronghold. Victory was near, but fate struck cruelly. An enemy soldier, in a desperate act, slashed Raikuro across the chest, sending him tumbling off a cliff into the raging river below. The world believed him dead. Chapter 1: The Healer's Daughter. Far downstream, the river carried Raikuro's broken body to the edge of a quiet village. There, a young woman named Aika Himura was gathering water for her family. Aika was the daughter of a healer, trained in the arts of medicine and compassion. Her father had once served the enemy kingdom, but now lived in peace, healing all who came, friend or foe. When Aika saw the unconscious samurai, bloodied and barely breathing, she recognized the royal insignia on his armor. She knew he was dangerous, but her heart, like the lotus flower blooming in the muddy stream, chose kindness over fear. She dragged him to her home, where her parents and younger siblings helped tend to his wounds. For days, she cared for him, changing bandages, feeding him broth, whispering stories to his sleeping form. Chapter 2: The ice begins to melt. Raikuro's recovery was slow. His body healed faster than his soul. Each morning, Aika would bring him tea infused with herbs, her fingers brushing his as she handed the cup. He rarely spoke, but his eyes began to linger, watching her braid her sister's hair, hum lullabies, or kneel beside the firelight. One evening, as the rain whispered against the roof, Aika entered his room with a bowl of warm rice and pickled plum. Raikuro took it silently. But when their eyes met, something shifted. He reached out, not for the food, but for her hand.
"Why do you care for me?"
he asked, voice low and rough. "Because you are more than your sword," she replied. That night, he followed her to the garden, where lotus flowers bloomed in the moonlight. Even in the darkest waters, beauty can rise. She placed a lotus flower in his palm, and this time he didn't let go. They sat beneath the plum tree, silence thick with longing. Raikuro touched her cheek, hesitant, as if afraid she'd vanish. She leaned into his hand, eyes closed, breath trembling. Their first kiss was slow, like snow melting on warm skin. Later, in the quiet of her room, lit only by a flickering lantern, they undressed each other with reverence. His fingers traced the curve of her shoulder, the scar on her wrist from childhood. She pressed her lips to the wound on his chest, the one that nearly took him. Their bodies met like two rivers converging, gentle, unsure, then unstoppable. It wasn't just passion, it was healing. Raikuro, who had never known softness, wept silently as she held him. Aika whispered no words, only pressed her forehead to his and let him feel her heartbeat. That night, the warrior became a man, and the man began to love. Chapter 3: The King's Summons. News of Raikuro's survival reached the castle. The king, eager to reclaim his weapon, sent guards to retrieve him. Raikuro did not resist, but before leaving, he asked Aika to come with him. She agreed on one condition. After this mission, you must lay down your sword. No more killing, no more blood. Raikuro nodded. Chapter 4: The Final Test. The king's command was clear. Eliminate the remnants of the enemy royal bloodline. No survivors. Raikuro rode alone through the misty forest, his armor polished, his blade sharpened, but his heart heavy. Aika's words echoed in his mind. No more blood. He arrived at a hidden shrine deep in the mountains. Inside, the enemy king knelt with his wife and child, a boy no older than 10. The boy clutched a wooden sword, trembling. Raikuro stepped forward, unsheathing his blade. The family froze.
You are Raikuro, the king's ghost, the blade that never misses!
The enemy king said. Raikuro raised his sword. The boy stepped in front of his father, eyes wide, defiant.
Don't hurt my papa,
he said. Raikuro's hand trembled. He saw himself in the child, alone, afraid, trying to protect what little he had. He lowered the blade.
I am no longer a ghost. I am a man, and I choose mercy.
Raikuro whispered. The enemy king bowed deeply.
You have saved more than my family. You have saved your soul.
Raikuro turned and walked away, leaving behind the mission, the blood, and the name that once defined him. When he returned to the castle, the king was furious. But Raikuro did not kneel.
I have fulfilled your command in spirit. The war is over. Let peace begin.
The king, seeing the fire in Raikuro's eyes, knew he had lost his weapon forever. Raikuro left the castle that day, never to return. Epilogue: The Lotus blooms. Raikuro returned to Aika, his hands clean, his heart reborn. He laid his sword at her feet and asked for her hand in marriage. They wed beneath the cherry blossoms, with a lotus flower tucked into her hair. Raikuro never killed again. He became a healer's apprentice, learning to save lives instead of taking them. The villagers called him the blade who chose love. And in the quiet of their home, beside the river that once tried to claim him, Raikuro and Aika lived, not as warrior and healer, but as two souls who found peace in each other.